Good morning, beloveds. Yeah. So we got up, got dressed, drove over to Goforth Park, which is 35-minute drive. The whole way it was either raining or not raining, raining or not raining, because it was raining when we left our house, and we were just like, all right, are we gonna do this or not? It was dripping, so we were like, okay, we're gonna go. So we walked out. We made it like 6 minutes, and it started to rain, and we were like, so we had to turn around and come back. So then now we have an hour and a half to kill. So we found it's a shopping center, and it's on a lake, and it's really pretty. And I found this place that my coworkers were talking about called Crumble. They make cookies, and every week apparently they change the flavors. So we bought a 4-pack because they had a cookie called cornbread, and I was like, I cannot wrap my head around cornbread cookie. I do not want this. So we bought one cookie for the 6 flavors. And now we're looking at them going, so I may go home, cut them in half, and take the other half to my coworkers, which were the ones telling me about the place in the first place. And then we went to a place called First Watch. It's a daytime cafe. They do breakfast and lunch. I recommend them. They're good. And they were fast because we had 40 minutes or so. Yeah, it was good. But, so that's what my morning has looked like. I hope you have had just as interesting of a morning. But it is February 26th, and our title is What I Give to My World, I Receive from My World. And we are still in Psalm 34 today. The quote is, "Depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it." And the universe is not to blame for our success or our failure. Too often, we use it as our alibi for failing to attain our goals. The wise have always known that they alone determine their good or their evil. The universe is a plastic, impersonal substance, forever taking form according to the patterns which we give it. Each of us is what, well, that sentence does not make any sense. Hold on. Each of us is what we are because of what we conceive ourselves to be. Each of us is where we are because of our general state of consciousness. Metaphysics without teaching a law could not be a science. We are constantly thinking something, and the sum total of our thinking comprises our mental attitude, our consciousness. This is what we give to the world, and on the basis of what we give, the world responds in return. Its sole purpose is to respond to us and create forms for us. Knowing this, we stop our stupidities and hold fast to our right thinking. Trust Ernest not to cut any. Oof. I stop blaming the conditions of my world and the people around me for my failure to demonstrate truth. I look squarely and frankly at myself and see that which no other person can ever know about me, my real inner thinking. To every negative in my consciousness, I say, "Begone, you have no part of me, you never did have, and you never will have." I am a spiritual expression of life, and I am now determined to offer my world only that which is true of God and of God's creation. All else is dissolved and gone. The Lord is with me. God's mind indwells me, and God's plan for me is now in full action, establishing me in peace, success, and permanent health. I cooperate fully with God today. Woof. Okay. Ernest didn't pull any punches today. So God's plan for us is peace, success, and permanent health. What that looks like is up to us. All right. He also says, because people get weird about God's plan for us. It's like all God's plan for you is peace, success, and permanent health. What it looks like, that's up to you. You get to determine the what. You just don't get to determine the how. And even there, you do have some play in the how by the choices that you make. And that's one of the reasons why we're constantly talking about knowing that you are at choice. And I say he doesn't pull any punches because he says, knowing this, we stop our stupidities. I mean, it's right there in black and white. And hold on to our right thinking. But he says, the sum total of our thinking. It's not each individual little thought. It's the trend of your thoughts. So when you're looking at you, when you take a look around your world and you go, wow, then go back and look at what you think. What's your predominant thought? When you are in a quiet moment, what pops into your head? What's your dominant emotion? If your dominant emotion is anger, then maybe you want to look at that. Where is it coming from? Where are your needs not being met? If your dominant emotion is happy, then clearly most of your needs are being met. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. So it's the sum total of our thinking, the trend of our thoughts. And I like how he says, metaphysics without teaching the law would not be a science. It would be woo-woo. It's like, look, we have choices. I hesitate to say control, but we have some control over our world. We definitely have control. Now, we are in relationship, and we operate within a culture, a society, or religion, what have you, and there are rules in there. So there are people who have less control than others based on the culture, the religion that they belong to, the culture that they live within, the religion that they belong to, at which point they are, again, at choice. And that's one of the things that when we see somebody who's struggling, we treat for them to know that they're at choice and treat for them to know who they are, that they're a beloved child of God. Now, the other thing that we do is when, culture is getting in the way of other people's good, then we seek to change that. And we do that both by treating and by, other things like voting. It's like, if our government is constantly putting laws into place that harm a certain segment of the population, we have a responsibility to say that's not okay. And we do it, one, in treatment, and two, in the material world. So don't ever think that treating is the only thing we do. I mean, Science of Mind is big in social justice because we believe that God's plan for us is peace, success, and permanent health. And we want to make sure that there is nothing in the material world getting in the way of anybody having that. That's our obligation. All right. So what I give to my world, I receive from my world. I mean, the Psalm's easy. Depart from evil, do good, seek peace, pursue it. Pursue peace. And in peace, you will get happiness and health and all of that other success, all that other stuff that he's talking about. It's part of peace. Because peace isn't just quiet. Peace is not quiet. Peace is prosperity and happiness and joy and success and all of that and health. And it's something that we work for and we work on. So, and he starts it out just straight out. The universe is not to blame for our success or our failure. All right? It's not magic. We have a part in this. We have a part to play in this. Too often, we use it as our alibi for failing to attain our goals. Well, but if only this had worked out, if only this person had done this. Well, if that person didn't do this, then was it possible for you to find somebody else that could have done that? Or maybe you were relying too much on that one person. The wise have always known that they alone determined their good or their evil. All right, I take a little bit of issue with that. Just a little bit, though. All right, because again, we are in relationship. We do live in cultures and societies and, groups and, and we keep seeing. So I live in Texas and I'm very angry that the governor and the attorney general have decided to straight up target trans children. That is harmful. That is wrong. And they are the trans children are not to blame for the evil that is coming, that could potentially come their way because of these two people who have decided, that they know better than the person living in the body, all right? That's a hill I'm willing to stand on and go, this is wrong. So when I say, when he says the wise have always known that they'll learn to determine their good or evil, trans children are the ones who get to determine it. And the governor of the state and the attorney general have no business interfering with their health care. That is straight up evil. And that is not on the trans children. All right. So when you hear phrases like that, it may be a little more complicated than you think. All right. So don't take that to heart when you are in relationship. Okay, with other people. And I'm not talking about romantic relationships and friend relationships. I'm talking about there's more than one of us out here. Even though we're all one, there are still people out there who are making decisions that affect other people that are not good. They're not to blame. People who are affected by bad decisions of other people are not to blame for that on that level. Now, on a one-on-one level, yeah, because you can choose to change that friend or that romantic partner, or if it's a family member, you can choose to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. All right. So just when he says things like that, I would say take it with a grain of salt. All right. Because it's a little bit bigger than people will take it to mean. Do not use that as a spiritual bypass. Just like you can't use the universe as an alibi. All right. The universe is a plastic, impersonal substance forever taking form according to the patterns which we give it. All right. Each of us is what we are because of what we conceive ourselves to be. What do you think you are? I tell you every day that you're a beloved child of God. What you do with that, that's your business. That's all I can do. Remind you who you are. Each of us is what we are where we are because of our general state of consciousness. Like I said, again, trend. Again, children are caught in that, so they've got some wiggle room there. And then marginalized groups are caught in that because, society, religion, culture, government has decided that they are less than. That's something we're working on. Okay. Metaphysics without teaching a law would not be science. That's one of the why we're constantly talking about you are at choice, you are at choice, you are at choice. Sometimes the only choice is how we feel about it. And once we make up our mind how we feel about it, then we see a path to action. All right. Then we see a path to action. We are constantly thinking something, and the sum total of our thinking comprises our mental attitude, our consciousness. Okay? Don't worry about the occasional negative thought. Worry about it if there's a trend of negative thought. Worry about it if there's a trend of negative thought. Beyond that, everybody has bad moments. Sometimes we have bad days. Sometimes we have bad weeks. But that's not the sum and total of of our lives, and that is not the sum and total of who we are. But if things aren't working out, then it is time to keep a journal. You can do a video journal if writing is not your strong point, and then go back and look. Okay, hey, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? It's like it's like doing a food diary. It's like when you write everything down you eat, then you can go back and go, well, every time I eat this, I don't feel good. Maybe I should stop doing that. All right. This is what we give to the world. And on the basis of what we give, the world responds in return. If you see bad people all around you, then that's what you're going to see. If you see good people all around you, then that is what you are going to see. If you see bad people, then occasionally you might notice a good one. And if you see good people, occasionally you might run across somebody who's not acting in, not behaving like the beloved child of God they are. But what are you choosing to look for? All right. Knowing this, Its sole purpose, the world's sole purpose, is to respond to us and create forms for us. All right? What forms are we asking for the world to create for us? I like to ask the world to create good people and good forms and, good. It's what I want. Occasionally, I have a day. Knowing this, we stop our stupidities and hold fast to our right thinking. All right? I mean, you're not pulling the punches. So, on to his power statements. And here's what I love. I stop blaming. Stop is in capital letters. I stop blaming the conditions of my world and the people around me for my failure to demonstrate the truth. I look squarely and frankly at myself and see that which no other person can ever know about me, my real inner thinking. Even if we talked, what was it that Jesse said? Even if we talked all day, I only know maybe a tenth about you. So if I'm going to change my thinking, it's up to me. If you're going to change your thinking, it's up to you. We can support each other, we can help each other, but we'll never know as much about the other person as. So that's where your power is. It's your head. You got to do the work. I can just hold the space for you to do the work in. To every negative in my consciousness, I say, and here it's in quotes, "Begone, you have no part of me. You never did have, and you never will have." Close quotes. I am a spiritual expression of life, and I am now determined to offer my world only that which is true of God and of God's creation. All right? We are spiritual expressions of life. We need to act like it. All else is dissolved and gone. The Lord is with me. God's mind indwells me. And God's plan for me, God's plan for us, is now in full action, establishing us in peace, success, and permanent health. I cooperate fully with God today. All right, now, I'm going to use that as the mission. But that does speak to your relationship with God. What is your relationship with God? Because if you're still stuck in the relationship with God of he is an old man with a long white beard sitting on a throne with a book, you may not feel like cooperating fully with God. That's not what we teach in Science of Mind. What we teach in Science of Mind is that God is a patterning intelligence, a mind. It's not a personality. And it can't judge you. But what it can do is love you. All right? And it loves you fully. You are an expression of it. You're an expression of that spirit. You're an expression of that love. That's who you are. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to cooperate fully with God today, knowing that God's plan for us is peace, success, and health. And we get to determine what that looks like. We are fully a choice in what our peace looks like, what our success looks like, and what our health looks like. We are fully a choice with that. And sometimes it means changing relationships. And sometimes it means standing up and saying, you know what? This is not okay. So, all right, beloveds. I am going to move on into the process of my day. As always, I'm going to encourage you in the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. In my case today, that was not getting wet at the park. It was instead going and having a nice breakfast in a nice little cafe with my husband, which he was not expecting, but, he enjoyed his steel-cut oats. And so then I'm going to spend the rest of my day not trying to warm up from being warm. Because that, I'm telling you, that cup of hot chocolate was amazing. Was amazing. All right, beloveds. The reason why I call doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself a spiritual practice is because it is. You deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. You deserve to practice on yourself. You should practice on yourself. I want you to create that habit, because then that means that when things go sideways, because they will, you have that to fall back on. You have that love, that kindness, that compassion to fall back on. So that when things do go sideways, you got a bank of love, kindness, and compassion to spread around. Super, super, super important. All right, beloveds, I'm going to go get this less messy. That's where I'm at today, which is why you get the car. If you were going to watch if you were going to go help out at the food market, that has been postponed, I think, until the first weekend in April, but it's TBA right now, to be announced. So stay warm and dry today. I will say, do something to engage your mind and your body. Mine was a little short, but hey, I did make the effort. Drink plenty of water. I would tell you to get a face full of sun, but, well, we're not supposed to see the sun until tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I did get some of that. I saw some of that spinach in my teeth. Sorry about that. And open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us. Sometimes it looks like finding a new cookie place. Sometimes it looks like a hot chocolate. Sometimes it looks like, what it is. And apparently I have talked too long, so I need to get off. Y'all have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a loving day, a fantastic day, an amazing day, a wondrous day. And know that you're loved. All right? Catch us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. Email info@creativelife.org if you want to know what's going on. And I am the Running Rev Ryan. I will see you next time. As always, take care of yourself. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased always and forever. All right, beloveds? Just know who you are. Know who you are.